There was a creepy DJ in Fayetteville at a karaoke bar, and every awkward moment pause, he'd just randomly go, "Drop a low girl, drop a low girl." The creepiest looking old man, probably every bit of 70 years old, and drop a low girl, drop a low girl, and everyone's like, ugh. Goblins and ghouls.
Welcome to $2 Steak. It's Halloween.
It's not
Keep going. The entire show.
With Big Mike, Cookie,
I'm not even entertaining this.
and Davenport.
Meow.
Restart this.
Maybe closer to Halloween we can do this.
No,
I think
it's the month of Halloween,
It's October
guys.
13th.
You got to do it every episode.
Oh, I can.
We recorded last week in October, and you didn't do that stupid stuff.
Yeah, but this is the month of Halloween. We're in it now. We're in the thick of things, boys. Can I get my spitter, by the way?
Yeah, it's open. I'm going to toss it to you.
Yeah. I can't
some spin
catch a
on it,
rugby
Oh,
ball.
God, please don't do it. Oh, it's going to smell horrible.
Hand it to me. Hand me that
does.
spitter,
It
boys.
has a stale
Welcome
scent.
to $2 Steak. I'm your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Big Mike.
What's up? I'm annoyed. You haven't even really. You might make my shit list again.
Cookie,
Yes, sir.
and Davenport.
What's up?
Davenport, are you excited that this is could possibly be your last week having to review a wrestling match for a little while?
It's kind of bittersweet. Like, no pressure on me, and I can just pop in and just drink beer and chill whenever.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, yeah, there's no pressure.
Yeah.
Like, you just come in and you're a part of the peanut gallery. And then, or the peanuts gallery. And Davenport, I'm gonna be sad to see you go next week. Are you off next Sunday?
I think I am off next Sunday.
So you can just come and watch and hear
Yeah.
Tolbert's stories of how he wants to move to Portland and like how he wants to move the podcast to
How
Portland.
high do you think he was when he was like, "You guys would love it. We should all move to Portland."
was that in the group text?
Incredibly.
I did not read any
he,
of that.
he literally wrote, he's like, yeah, all the stereotypes are true, but it's not that bad. And I'm like,
But he only sent it through the wrestling chat.
yeah. So, Tolbert, I'm going to have to say no. Let's see if we can get an update from him real quick. Anyway, so how's everybody going? How's this weekend been? It's been a long week, as always. You guys had a rugby match.
We did. We beat the shit out of the Marines.
That's
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you for your, after every tackle, you're like, thank you for your service.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really fun game. I mean, besides beating the shit up, there's always a fantastic team to play against.
Yeah, they're a great group of guys. I mean, they're the closest team that we play. Like,
What was
they're
the
only-
final score, by the way?
like
75 to
75-19,
17, 19.
something like that.
Ooh.
Davenport scored a try.
Is that your first A-side try?
No.
No, dude, as
They're
he's running,
few and far between.
no.
but
As he's running, his curly mullet locks are just flopping in the wind.
Love it.
He got a fresh cut before he goes to Disney World, and yeah, they're just like, because as he sweats, they get curlier.
Yeah.
The back gets curlier, and it's just flowing.
Are they going to allow you into Disney World?
They might not.
They're going to be like, can we get a background check on the
It's
possible
bullet.
child molester?
It's Florida. Plenty of those people have mullets.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I didn't
Plenty of
even
those
think about
people never got rid of their mullets.
that. Right.
Oh, God.
Achy Breaky Heart is still number one.
You're telling me that's a 30-year-old mullet? There are 30-year-old mullets in Florida somewhere. Greasy.
Anyway.
He gets a local rate.
Greasy.
yeah, you get that for free here. All right, so it is the month of October, and for that, we are going to kind of have some Halloween-themed episodes of $2 Steak because there's some spooky things in the world of professional wrestling. Today, we're going to be talking about the various monsters of professional wrestling. And nobody did the research because nobody read the rundown correctly this week.
Well, you haven't had a segment one for weeks now.
Well, then why didn't you fucking look?
I just
you
figured
just
out how to work
assume-
Google Docs too.
Yeah, you just assumed that you fucked up and you didn't put it in there. So
I put it in there when I made this rundown.
And either way, all it says is monsters. It doesn't say wrestling monsters.
Well, what is this show about, Mike? What is
Again-
this show about?
Again, we don't always talk
$2
about.
Steak, a professional wrestling podcast.
I don't know, man. We've had baking segments. We've had other different segments. We talk about rugby a lot. We occasionally talk about football.
Are there monsters in rugby?
I mean, there can be.
Yeah,
Like
so-
spooky monsters
well,
I mean,
with origin stories?
The All Blacks are pretty scary, and they have an origin story.
Oh, what's their origin
I
story?
don't know, man. They're like Mari warriors, and they like do the haka at the beginning of the games.
All right, so Undertaker, same level as the All Blacks.
I mean,
Yes.
I think the All Blacks are better. Undertaker went, 21-0 at WrestleMania? All Blacks are like 920. They're the winningest team in professional sports history.
Are they from? Have they been killed and resurrected multiple times?
Could you
I don't know
have
that
a
much
outside
about any of
conversation?
that.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so let's some of the scarier elements of professional wrestling that have been over the years. There have been different gimmicks. In Memphis, there was a Frankenstein gimmick. There was a man that dressed up like Frankenstein, but he had an origin story. He was not quite He was not the Frankenstein.
Well, Frankenstein was the doctor anyway, not the monster.
Well, Frankenstein's monster in Memphis. I don't think the people of Memphis are making that.
Davenport just had his mind blown. He's like, what?
I knew that, but only you would bring it to.
Dr. Frankenstein.
I just like to prove Aaron wrong.
Anyway, so
Really?
we've had vampires on ECW,
Yeah. You've had
We've
them in
had-
the WWE as well.
zombies.
Zombies.
We have had undead Undertakers. His charred remains of a brother.
Paul Bearer, his creepy dad, who might be undead, may not be.
Oh, he's dead
He's
for real
dead,
now.
He's dead now. But
Poor Paul Bearer.
R.I.P.
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 Percy Pringle.
you had the Mummy Monster and
The Mummy Monster, the Yeti.
the Yeti. Oh yeah, the Yeti. Yeah,
They
what's
called
his
him
name?
the Yeti. That whole Dungeon of Doom was terrible.
It was I hated it.
Every single one of them are amazing, but I loved every
weird.
single
See, this is
one.
where it would have been good if you put highlights and things we could have researched, and me and Davenport would actually know what you're talking about. But right now, it's just doing cookie.
I'm just thinking about that creepy ass monster doll on your kitchenette thing.
We also have a fiend.
Yeah, we could talk about the Fiend.
Tell me about the fiend.
Yeah.
What about the fiend had you intrigued until last Sunday?
I mean, I think it was like the mysticism about it. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
just, you don't really know. I mean, you know he wants to hurt people, and but you don't really know what he's about. He kind of just goes around and pretty much KOs famous former wrestlers and that sort of thing. And
then Monday, what do you think about the fiend now?
well, I think I've been saying it for months that they were probably going to fuck it up, and they did. I mean, first thing, like, as soon as he walks out, it says the Fiend, aka Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, well, everybody knows it's Bray Wyatt, dude.
Not everybody does, and it really killed it. Like, you knew it was Bray Wyatt, but it lost a lot of that aura because now you're just like, oh, it's just Bray Wyatt being the Fiend. It's not the Fiend. I don't know, man. It kind of.
What about the demon?
Finn Balor.
Well, I
Demon
think
King.
they've done the same thing with the Demon in the sense where they started announcing when he was going to be the Demon.
Is Darby a monster?
He is.
half
He is
one?
a skateboard fuck, which that is. It's one of these rare monsters that they spray the mace on each other.
I would like to
and-
point out, I think we're all actual Darby fans.
Oh, we love
it's,
Darby.
It's
Oh,
it's just funny that Cornette just gets so mad about it.
skateboard.
At
fuck.
little, no, he liked him this week.
Yeah, but he still calls him a skateboard fuck.
That's my favorite.
Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus
Ooh,
is a
I like that.
monster.
Would you consider him a monster?
The dude is 6'8". Yes.
Yeah, but he's not going around like doing a monster gimmick. Like
He just
He's a
dresses
babyface
as a
monster.
monster.
he's portraying a highly educated dinosaur.
Does he talk?
Yes,
yeah, he
he's
talks
the
a lot.
only one in the
He's very
group.
smart.
He's the only one in the group that really talks.
Yeah, he's the smart one.
Like
Wait.
today on Twitter, Jack Evans,
Jack
Marco
Evans is
Runt-
the little
Runt
one.
Stunt, whatever.
not Marco. Who's the other guy?
Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy. Tweeted at Luchasaurus if he could take him and Marco Stunt to the new Rock movie, the Jungle.
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, and he said only if it's educational. That's what Luchasaurus
That's
said.
very. See, that's that.
He's got a master's degree.
Not monsters don't have to be scary.
I would never consider him a monster.
Monsters
Gene
can be.
Snitsky, that was a monster.
He had fucked
He
up
was- he
teeth,
had fucked- yeah, that dude was terrifying.
He
had
killed
no
a
hand.
baby.
He did kill a baby. Lita's
and
baby.
it wasn't his fault.
It
It's not my fault.
wasn't my fault.
Again, I don't. Now we're past.
Yeah,
what you're
can
talking
you explain this storyline? I forgot it. Like, so Lita had a
Lita
child,
was pregnant with Kane's baby.
and Gene Snitsky threw her off the apron. She landed on her stomach.
So they did a miscarriage.
They
gimmick?
did a miscarriage
Yes,
angle,
and-
with Kane and Lita.
And then Gene Snitsky, or maybe he kicked her in the stomach.
I think he kicked her in the stomach.
Yeah, and then his whole catchphrase from that storyline was, "It's not my fault."
Yeah.
Yeah, you think Vince wrote that?
Yeah.
Probably.
Also, can we talk about Kane being a necrophiliac? That was a storyline of a monster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, his old high
Katie
school
Vick.
sweetheart. Yeah,
He had sex with a dead body.
Yeah, but it was portrayed as Triple H.
Triple H, yeah.
Yeah, that was a.
So, all right. I don't know what
we're
you guys are talking about.
We're
still,
talking
but
about real life monsters.
Would you? Wow.
Yes.
Would you consider that they have to have? So the Kane's got the mask.
Right.
You guys are saying Luchasaurus. He has a mask, and Undertaker's kind of got a little bit of a aura about him. Like, could you just have like a general wrestler just be this like meandering kind of
Monster?
Like Lars Sullivan? Would you consider him a monster?
He would be that's the monster of racism.
Okay.
There's a difference between
he's powered by hate.
homophobia. Yeah, he's
You got
the
hate in your heart.
monster.
Just let it out. That is.
He's the
that is
hate
it.
monster.
But generally, like, could it just be a guy with a regular name who just is this like big scary thing?
I think a monster is what you define it as.
Possibly.
There's monsters in all of us.
It's very open-minded, introspective.
I like that.
There's
monsters in all of us.
There's monsters in all of us.
Yeah.
We all have our demons. Finn Balor's demons just comes out and wins matches.
Yeah, and they just let you know when it's going to happen.
Davenport's is just he likes to beat off with a tie around his neck.
Wow, that's where we're going.
We weren't supposed to talk about this. My family listens to your podcast.
I wanted to say something to get Davenport back in this conversation.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about. I brought up Darby, quickly got off that subject, so I'm out.
Sorry, Davenport.
I don't know where to go from here.
I think 5 of the 20 listeners were my family, and
now,
none of them are
now
listeners.
they know autoerotic asphyxiation.
Well, I think generally in the idea of monsters for wrestlers, I like the idea of them because it kind of gets you invested in what, like, whether you enjoy. Like, I really liked The Fiend. I was curious to see where it was going to go. Like, it was interesting, and people, and I don't think they completely ruined it.
Not yet.
But again, much in the same respect to the Demon. Those are the two that I've really seen recently.
Right. Well, I
And-
mean, you've seen
and-
Undertaker.
Yeah, but not when he was in his prime.
No.
And so
You've seen Undertaker against Goldberg.
Would you consider Goldberg a monster?
again, so that
No.
so that goes back to what I was talking about. But I think
There's a
the,
difference.
the kind of surrounding nature of it, where you're like, oh God, he's here. You know what I mean? Like, that is the cool part about monsters,
Right.
And I think WWE has managed to ruin both of their current monsters.
Yeah, I mean, I can see your point of view.
It lowers it. I still want to see the Demon. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if they say Demon's coming to NXT, like, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm still going to watch
That intro.
for Fiend stuff. Yeah, but it really they've kind of dulled it. They've taken the edge off of it, and,
Right.
And it just makes me upset a little bit.
So your monster is anger, revenge. You want to revenge against WWE by watching AEW exclusively.
Well, I mean, I did tell you that I'm kind of like, I watched an hour of SmackDown on Friday, and I'm just kind of like, this is boring compared to
You
AEW.
did watch. So you did watch live Friday.
I did not watch
I was watching it live on Friday, and then when it really did come out that they had fucked up and just completely
Leaked the draft.
leaked their own draft order 2 days prior. And then it was an actual thing, and then like just the whole draft show was so cheesy and so boring that I turned it off.
So here, let's think of it like this. WWE is the monster at this point. WWE is the monster, and they're showing chinks in this armor. Do you think AEW has the momentum right now to defeat the Beowulf type?
I mean, you're never going to defeat it.
It's still early. I think it's still a little early to say that. Just
Yeah, go ahead.
just because AEW is, they're at the foundation right now. I don't think they only have 4 or 5 pay-per-views underneath their belt right now.
Right.
One TV show.
And 3 of
It's
those
gonna take a while
pay-per-views
to
were not
take
even
down
like
the Titan.
real pay-per-views. They were kind of.
No, I mean, I don't, but I think they're going about it the right way. Where they're not trying to defeat WWE. They're just trying to put on a good product, and I think they're succeeding in that.
I think they have the ball rolling. I think they have potential.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
they've already made waves. I mean, they made WWE put on their promotional like startup, kind of wrestling thing on TV.
Yeah.
So like they're obviously doing that, and I think eventually WWE is going to start falling back on maybe. Well, they already are. We saw 2 headshots with chairs in the pay-per-view, so they're putting some of those things back into the program that they missed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a war, and I don't think they're actually going to try to topple them. But I think AEW is going to succeed with what they're trying to do.
I agree.
I mean, because again, they have monsters, but kind of like what I was talking about. They don't have like a character monsters. They have, Moxley's kind of like this crazy kind of guy. You never know what he's going to do. Pac looks like that too. So I think
Jimmy Havoc's kind of like when Jimmy's got his thing going on. I think he's kind of got that thing. The Dark Order, I think they're trying to do a supernatural bent with it, but I'm not sure.
But all of those guys kind of are grounded in realism in the sense that they're people, and
right.
Like, they're not characters like an Undertaker or Kane. And I don't think you need to have. I personally, this is why I asked you guys the question. I don't think you need to have a gimmick in order to have that sort of stuff.
Speaking of monsters,
Tolbert?
hey, Dad.
Oh.
Hey,
What,
you doing your podcast?
Yeah, I'm right in the middle of it. What's up?
All right, no, well, we were just checking in. Your mama said she hadn't heard from her baby boy today, so
Great.
give him a call.
Great. This is being recorded for the podcast. Great.
Okay, all right.
All right. Love you guys. I'll call you back in a little while. All right, for our first match of the evening, we're doing 3 Great Muta matches / segments for this week. Great Muta, a character that has got a spooky bent to it. Mike, you have Arn Anderson against the Great Muta.
I do, and it's from January 2nd, 1990, from NWA Power Hour. And they just started the whole thing back, so it was interesting to kind of see where they went or where they are from where they were trying to be.
And we've enjoyed it. We watched the new one.
I had one critique, and that was it. And I liked it, and I got the feel from it watching this kind of match. This is for a World Television Championship,
right?
So we start with Arn. So it's studio wrestling.
Studio
wrestling.
Not
a lot of stuff going on. There's no entrances. It's just Arn and Muda in the ring. Muda, and I know Muda has a mist because I've seen a couple of his matches. He shoots the mist in the air before the match. Is that like a LeBron James chalk clap? Like,
Shooting early.
Did he do that all the time? Because he didn't shoot it at Arn.
He does not do that every time.
And I think that Muda was playing more of the face character in this, so maybe you don't think he was the face?
Absolutely not.
Really?
The crowd was all for Arn.
Okay.
And Muda later, gets
you're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking because the original match that. Can we start your segment over?
I don't know how you're gonna get more relaxed in that chair and upset.
Maybe you should take this more seriously and sit up.
God, we're gonna start your whole segment over.
No, we're not.
Oh no, we like that bit.
What is this? The Marvin show?
No,
because you're the editor, you get to decide when the rest of us don't want things.
So for the first match of the evening, we've got Jesus Christ.
For the first match,
Arn Anderson against the Great Muta. Big Mike. We are talking about Great Muta matches.
We are not starting over.
I'm starting it over.
No, we're not. So I'm gonna go ahead and start continue. Damn it, maybe we should. I'm gonna continue with where I left off. So Cornette and Jim Ross are on commentary. Initially, I knew it was Cornette immediately just from his voice. Jim Ross, who has a very not knowledge, that voice when you hear it.
Yeah.
The first 2 minutes, I didn't know it was Jim Ross. He sounded kind of like
nasally.
Yeah, just like real kind of like. I said Weasley, but yeah. And then later on, he kind of settles in, and you know it's JR. But just listening to that versus now is a little different. And I know he's had palsy and all that sort of stuff, but it is kind of interesting, I guess, to hear it because Corny sounds the same. You watch 1990 Power Hour, and you watch Power Hour from last week. It's the same.
Did not call Muda a skateboard fuck though.
He did not. So Cornette playing his heel characters, trashing the fans immediately. As commentary calls them hillbillies and hicks.
With a southern drawl. With his southern drawl.
With his southern drawl. Yeah, well, that's the idea because he's an uppity hillbilly.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's got mama's money. Jim Ross, oh, God, what match was it? He referred to somebody as an Oriental.
It was the women's match.
Bull Nakama?
It was the no.
Was it Riho? It was recently. He said Oriental.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the AEW.
yeah.
Anyway, he starts off this one by calling Muta the Oriental Man. He said the Oriental Man has good like moves because Muta jumped out of the ropes. He also makes reference to them later on and asks, "Are there any nice looking Oriental guys?" And I think it was more about like their character versus their looks.
Right.
But either way, 30 years later, it didn't sound
right.
great.
It sounded weird. Yeah.
Anyway, so we start the match. We got classic lockups, a double wrist lock, which I liked. Muda is he's pretty big. Arn Anderson's a big guy. Muda's matching up with him. Muda's maybe not as thick as Arn and maybe like an inch shorter, but he's a lot bigger than I thought he would be.
And when I did originally your match was going to be stunning Steve Austin against the Great Muta, and I scrapped it for this match. And I was looking at that, and I had the same thought. I'm like, holy crap, he's taller than Steve Austin.
Yeah, because we've had him one or two Muta
We've had him a
matches
couple
before.
times,
Yeah.
but it's not come up in...
Exactly. I guess you don't have a reference.
Right.
So, and I know how big Arn is, so it looks pretty big and powerful. And I like the double wrist lock. It's good kind of like old school wrestling. Arn reverses the double thing and kind of overpowers Muda. So you can kind of see that start to play. Buzz Sawyer joins Muda.
So Buzz Sawyer, yeah, he is a very 80s, early 90s kind of wrestler. He's the guy that I think Tolbert should be for Halloween.
Okay.
Buzzed Sawyer.
Yeah, and then one other guy. Did they say Dragon Master or something?
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
Okay, so essentially what we get, this is where you were wrong earlier, 3-on-1, Muda's team versus Arn. Arn really has a good facial here. He doesn't portray that he's scared. He looks more just kind of like unnerved, like a little worried. Like, all right,
it's 3-on-1.
Yeah. We move to the ground. Arm starts working Muda's left arm. We get a good spot later on where that comes into play a little bit. Muda, for how big he is, shows some really good agility, countering Arn's moves into this reverse spinning kick kind of thing.
And he's quick. Muda's quick as shit.
And that's that again, for how big he is, he moves really well, and that's I was going to talk about that a little bit later too. At one point, he tosses Arn out of the ring and just starts like slamming Arn up against the crowd barrier. He also does this huge axe handle slam onto Arn. That's what it's called, right?
Double axe handle.
Yeah, where they jumped off the top post.
Yeah.
So a little bit later, Muda gets, as they called it, Cornette called them this, another one of these Japanese submission moves. And so clearly the audience that NWA is talking to is not quite used to the Oriental style.
Right. They're not sure of it yet.
Yeah, but it's actually really neat. I've never seen anything like it. Muda
shoulder. Is it the shoulder one?
So he's in a back bridge, and they're head to head. Arn is laying down, and he's got his arms wrapped up behind him.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. It was really kind of cool. I was like, oh, all right. Arn manages to headbutt Muda and kind of reverse it, which was kind of cool. And then crowd's eating it up, right? So this is where the crowd loves Arn at this point.
Because they don't like the Orientals, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Racist. So Muda goes off the ropes and lands a stiff reverse kick to Arn's face at one point. Stiff. Pretty sure Arn licked his heel through his boot.
Oh, yeah.
We get a couple huge atomic drops from Arn to Muda. We get gets a lock on Muda's left arm. This is the spot I was talking about where Arn was working the left arm. So he gets a lock on Muda's left arm, gets it behind his back, manages to pick him up sideways, and then slam him onto his back with his arm behind him. Again, never seen that kind of move. I liked it. It was like a good power move, and you could really physically hurt somebody doing that. So it made sense. It looked good. It was real, and I kind of really liked that. At one point, they both roll over the top rope. So this is back when throwing somebody over the top rope was a DQ on you,
Correct.
right? So they roll over the top rope. I don't know if it was a botch, as Cookie would say, or if it was meant to be like that. But commentary, it sounded like they were struggling to kind of explain why that happened and why the match
was not thrown out.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was interesting. Again, it kind of owed to the time that they were in. All right, so we kind of speed through. Orin hits a massive spine buster. That's one of his main moves, right? Or is his main move? It's one he's known for, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm. That and the brain buster.
The brain buster and the spine buster? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so he hits this massive spine buster. We get a little bit of a ref distraction. The blonde bowling ball with a ponytail, Sawyer hits this big ring spot, slams Orin in the head while the ref's distracted. Muda pins, gets a 2 count. Muda hits another big reverse spinning heel kick, does a moonsault. Orin gets his knees up just in time, reverses it a little bit. Orin gets this massive DDT, gets the 3 count, rolls out, gets the win, all this sort of stuff. So my final thoughts, unless there's anything else you want to add.
No.
Did I hit the highlights? So final thoughts. Muda, again, big guy. Yeah, I guess the guys he was wrestling previously I didn't know how
bigger
big they
dudes,
were or whatever. So big guy, he moves very well. It was nice contrasting styles. So Muda is very like kind of flowy and like kicks and like high flying, where Orin is more of that old school kind of power slams, that sort of thing. When you're a big guy like Orin, you can sell those simpler moves just from them looking powerful, like those atomic drops, that slam onto the arm. Even just the simple like chain wrestling and grappling looks good when I think they're equally matched. Like if it was a smaller guy and he was doing that, I don't think it would have looked as powerful as it did.
Okay.
Coming to a guy that kind of matched up to him size wise. Muda's athleticism is evident. I put here because again I don't have a lot of like reference historically, but he reminds me, or Luchasaurus reminds me a little bit of him.
Of Muta?
Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit earlier, but like him being a monster, but because they're both big guys, but I mean Luchasaurus does the kip ups, he does the reverse kicks, the kind of karate looking stuff.
I never even thought about that.
And that's kind of where I my mind went, because that's the only reference I know. So I like that. A couple more near falls get big pops. I popped when Orin kicked out. So that you get big pops when they're near the end of the match, like where you know that it should be. Right. Because I like, and I guess I like that style, and you don't see that much anymore in the WWE or AEW. The NWA stuff that we saw last week on YouTube, I don't think that they maybe had 1 or 2. And I think that kind of gives some realism to it, brings you in a little bit, because you hit a big ass move, it should be the ending move.
Right.
Like Arn Anderson hits a spine buster, like that should be it. So when you do get a kick out, you're like, holy crap. And then I'll finish with this. 12 minutes 45 seconds into the video that we'll post out, the wrestlers and the cameraman were 100% on point. The wrestlers hit their moves. Production was perfect in terms of like getting the perfect angle for it. I mean, Muda does that moonsault. Arn gets his knees up, hits Muda in the gut. Muda still lands on his feet, but then sells it really well. The kick, all that sort of stuff. Arn's DDT to finish it, massive, looked great. I was like that. That is what that last like minute and a half is what these like AEW's kind of missing. They miss the production, kind of the right angles in the right spots, and I think that's an ode to that studio wrestling, that they say they're able to do that a little bit better because it's more confined.
It's more controlled.
Those are my thoughts.
Well, let's get to that social media update.
I mean, so social media wise, Tolbert's had some. I'll have to have a talk with him, but he's had some really good content. But
why do you have to have a talk?
Well, because he could spread that content out.
He likes to give us a lot of lumps.
He clumped up 4 great posts. There was the picture, the Playboy,
Christy Hemme, right?
The awkward Hulk Hogan in front of the hamburger.
I didn't understand what that was. Yeah.
Or no. Was it the Hamburglar? No, that was the. No, it was
Mayor McCheese.
Maybe that was it. The giant Randy Savage thing on the ceiling, and then there was
a pinata, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah.
It kind of looked like a pinata.
But
those were the 3, and then today he did the graphic.
Yeah, Tolbert.
The Shark
space
Tank.
them out, man. One post a day is all you need. Save that content, through. I'm trying to do a better job of getting back on the Twitter and being a little more active. We're still hovering sub 210, but over 200. We have not dipped below 200.
If you drop below 200, does it?
No, again, we've established it was a threshold. It was not a continuous kind of thing.
So Davenport, next week when you're going to be here, should we make a date for it next week?
I don't know if we should just put a hard date on it just because our lives get kind of hectic.
Should it just come out of nowhere, like a wrestling move?
Table out of nowhere. I don't know. Let's leave him wanting and guessing. We'll create a sub wrestling chat, exclude Tolbert from it. That way he doesn't know when it's going to happen. But I want it to be a spectacle. I want it to be a day event. Maybe we invite our friends and family.
Miss Tolbert, Katie's gonna come over and just cry the whole time.
Tolbert said he's gonna get Katie pregnant, so he's coming over to tell us that Katie might be pregnant, and as he's saying he's going through a table.
That could be the gender reveal. We could have something like hidden under the table, and like maybe like a cloud.
Just to clarify, we don't know that Katie
is actually totally.
We're not saying that at all.
He was probably so high this he probably didn't know what he was doing.
Oh my God!
I'm saying.
I don't want to think about that.
But yeah, that's the social media update.
Well, that also leads us to the hot news segment here on $2 Steak. Big Mike's shit list.
All right, my shit list is actually kind of really small this week. It happens to be that I said what I was going to do. I said I was going to follow or find the people that unfollowed us and shit on them.
Right.
And I've succeeded in that. So last week I kind of started morphing the shit list offline a little bit. I'm going to take it offline again. I'm actually maybe going to change it into more of a Peter Griffin, what really grinds my gears kind of thing.
Okay.
So my shit list, headlining Big Mike's shit list, is the WWE and the Hell in a Cell.
All right.
They DQ'd a no DQ match.
Right. And a lot of people are up in arms about that.
Yeah, and it's just like so stupid. And we waited up all night. We had pizza. We enjoyed most of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, it was good.
One of the better pay-per-views we've watched as a collective. Just for it to kind of end in like disappointment. So WWE's Hell in a Cell finish headlines my shit list. I have one more.
Wait. So WWE, you've made Big Mike's shit list.
Yeah, there we go. All right, it's only taken 3 weeks. And the second person on Big Mike's shit list, Big Mike.
We were gonna,
I was really hoping that this was going to happen.
we were gonna do this.
Yeah. So after calling you boys out on your shitty fantasy football efforts, I did not get Lowe's score last week. I think I have a chance not to get it this week, but
No.
In the hectic life that I live, I forgot to set my lineup on Thursday, and I ended up starting 2 players for the New York Giants that were out. I knew that the Patriots were playing. I forgot that they were playing the Giants, and so after Thursday, I had a whole 1.7 fantasy points, and
Your projection has gotten lower.
yeah, so
80
80
points
There we go.
this week.
Yeah, so I might be chugging 16 ounces of a Four Loco. Stay tuned to find out.
Which one? I just want to know which one.
Choice, Four Locos, Four Locos.
So I am the second person on Big Mike's shit list.
That's
Big
why.
Mike, you've made Big Mike's
Shit list.
I'm so disappointed in me.
We are too.
I hate myself. All right, for the second match of the evening, Strong Style with Cookie. Cookie, you have got Great Muta against Steven Regal. You all right, Cookie?
I just realized that's between me and him in terms of chugging. I have 69, he has 62. Fuck. Gardner Minshew, man, you're killing me.
All right. Well, that's that. That's fantasy football chat.
All right.
$2. I can't even think of a. I can't think of a fun joke for that.
That's okay.
No.
Because I got the Great Muta versus Lord Stephen Regal. Actually,
I think I got a good joke for it.
Yeah. What is it?
Because every one of those drinks that we chugged is $2 at the gas station.
That's true. Yeah. $2 chug.
What was Aaron's clam juice? $2?
No, that was more expensive than $2.
Aaron spent more money on the clam juice than any of us
Still
have.
makes me shudder. Sir Regal is by far one of my favorite villains in wrestling of all
Correct.
time.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's awesome. From the brass knuckles in the WWE to his legitimate brawls with Fit Finlay, Regal is clearly just as entertaining as he is tough. He's one of my guys.
Can I pause this? I love that he comes prepared with a fucking monologue, you guys.
I was gonna
That's
joke.
what I'm gonna do, man.
It's like he wrote a graduation speech.
I know every time. You are the valedictorian for this week.
Thank you, man.
Continue. I'm sorry, Cookie.
How do you expect me to write a monologue for the thing that you gave me?
Hey, well, look, come on, man. Let Cookie have his spot.
If I had to sum up Regal's appearance in 3 words in this match, that boy thick.
Thick.
That boy
is
thick, though.
He's never been a shredded guy, but he's clearly was putting down the bangers and mash. That's all I got to say.
Yo.
He's a big boy.
Yo, I listened to they had a podcast about Steven Regal.
Oh, really?
Apparently, this time he was addicted to this weird drink that was like got him really messed up and like. What? Yeah, like
Is it like that chocolate milk you can buy at the gas station? Because that shit's delicious.
No. This was like a drug.
Oh.
It's a drug, man. Hey, Davenport, grab me something non-alcoholic.
Can you grab me something as well?
Hey, Davenport, grab me something alcoholic.
A water, please. Damn. Muda, on the other hand, very mysterious, versatile fighter. From what I've seen, Muda he's trend setting, but in this match, you see he's following the trends,
right?
Because my guess is that this match is taking place in the mid to late '90s, because Muda has NWO face paint on.
That dun 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 dun.
So my question is this a joint promotion between WCW and NJPW?
Oh, here we go. So NWO was originally a Japanese thing.
Bullshit.
I'm dead serious. NWO was originally a Japanese thing.
No fucking way.
Yes.
And they took it.
Yes.
Like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Eric Bischoff took it.
Oh. Well, fuck, I just learned something. Will you not bring that goddamn thing away from me? Get away from me. Don't bring it near me.
So, this was a part of NWO Japan. And I'll take water. NWO Japan, and I was gonna talk about this in a little bit. Cool thing about Great Muta, Kenji Muto had 2 different sides of his personality. One side, Kenji Muto, Muto, white meat baby face, great wrestler, high flying. They considered him one of the 3 musketeers of Japanese professional wrestling at that time. He was not quite the Tanahashi style. So he was one of the 3 anchors of Japanese professional wrestling at that point in time. Muta, on the other hand, was not. He was a heel. Yeah. And Keiji Muto teased that he was going to go to NWO, did not go to NWO. Great Muta, however, did.
Joined the New World Order.
So this one person playing 2 different characters, one part of his personality was NWO. Gotcha. One part was not.
So think Demon goes to the NWO.
Right. Isn't that
Finn
weird? I think it's a cool concept.
That's an interesting concept, especially for the 90s. Okay. All right. Well, that puts into perspective. All right. Well, guys, back to my segment. We have the top 4.
Top 4. Number 1.
The Muda's pre-match attire. Dude looks like a legit badass with just the all black and silver, fully covered headdress, black and white face paint and all. Muda is an intimidating cat.
Yeah, dude, he looks cool.
He looks cool. Like, he doesn't have to have, like, I think he did have the lights. He had, like, flashy lights as well.
Yep.
The lights went out and stuff like that. Like, he's intimidating. I can see that. Even for someone as tough as Steven Regal.
Or Cookie.
Or me. Number 2. Muda goes under the ring and grabs a Dollar Tree broom.
That's right.
He goes under the ring, guys, and picks up literally what looks to be like the shittiest broom you can ever think of. He looks at it, everyone cheers, and then he just throws it back into the fucking ring.
What was that
Under the
reference
ring.
to?
I don't know,
It
man.
had no. I think it had no purpose at all.
There had to be some kind of.
Yeah, there had to have been some underlying thing. But
It
one,
had to be.
I don't understand Japanese commentary.
I don't either. So I was like, well, that was anticlimactic. It'd be like if Terry Funk grabbed a chair and didn't throw it.
Didn't throw it, just
put it
a
back
random
down the
into a group of people.
Yeah, and just left it there. Or if he just opened it and just put it back where it was supposed to go.
I like that chair.
That doesn't make
That's
any
a good
sense.
chair.
-1 cookie just for that.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3.
Regal's mat-based technique. It was really like it's the man's knowledge. He's clearly not a college wrestler. I don't think he was a college wrestler at all. He grew up in carnivals, correct? He grew up with.
That's where he started. Yeah.
He had the carnival lifestyle.
And that British catch stand.
Yeah, exactly. So he had a very rough upbringing, but he's a badass wrestler, and I guess he just, I don't know what it is, but he knows his techniques, and he can get in and out. He made people like Goldberg look stupid.
It's his reversals, man. His
Yeah.
reversals are so cool.
Like
To
anything
be
he
fair,
put him
I think Goldberg made Goldberg look stupid in that
that
match.
is also true. That is also
He,
true.
like standing there confused.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
do I do? When do I slam you?
But
Jackknife.
my guess is that he became such a badass through the catch as catch style, through these freak shows, as what they used to be called. So I thought that was a really cool part of the match, and it took over the match. Like the mat based techniques he really grounded and pounded the Great Muta, and you didn't really see a lot of his style until you get to my next point, number 4.
Number 4.
The green mist. Muda clearly gets pissed off by being grounded and pounded, and he was like, nah, done with this crap. Mist, bulldog, moonsault, 3 count. In that order. Badass way to finish that
When did he
match.
put the mist in is my question. It was pretty cool.
No clue, because both of his arms I thought were pinned down, and while his arms are pinned down, he spits the green mist in Regal's face. I don't know when he did it, but he did it, and I actually did some research.
Did you?
I did some research on the mist. So the mist is also called dokugiri. Japanese. I don't know. Japanese way of saying
How does it work?
Dokugiri. So there are many different colors that are typically used, but the green one is the most common. It obscures vision, causes great discomfort. Yellow paralyzes. Blue mist puts people to sleep. Red causes burning sensations. Black mist completely blinds the person for at least 2 weeks. Purple causes momentary distractions and memory loss.
Oh God.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of those, but I've seen a few from Tajiri. And
Is there a
think
black mist?
The black mist is the one I've seen.
Yeah.
He used it on Nydia to blind
Oh,
her.
poor Nydia.
Yeah,
Redneck Nydia.
Jamie Noble and Nydia.
Nydia! I love you!
All right, but to finish off my match, I will give this match 2 cookies.
Why?
I gave it because I wanted more, and it was just mat-based techniques, and then the mist, the bulldog, and a moonsault.
I really thought that you were going to give it a little bit more. It is a quick match.
It's a very quick match, and I love these 2 people, and I just wanted to see them fight. I wanted to see more of Muda's athleticism, but I didn't get a chance to see that.
I get to tell you, that this was a part of the G1, too. This was a G1 match.
That was a G1 match?
That was a G1 match back in the
Wow,
day.
no wonder it was so quick. That makes sense now. You know, they don't advertise as much on Japanese wrestling. Like,
Now?
you don't see the
'Cause we're in
banners
America.
that say G1.
Oh, yeah,
or,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
G1 anywhere.
Because it's a sport there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So 2 cookies.
2 cookies for this match, man.
We'll do better next week with Jushin
I
Liger.
hope so.
Oh, the high spot. This is going to be a very interesting high spot. This week, we're talking about the Great Muta, and I want, if you guys have got this podcast up and you look into the links at the bottom, I want you to make it make it a what is it? Make it a.
If you watch one link in any of the ones that we've ever talked about,
Watch this one. Yeah. So this is called the Great Muta, the origin of the demon.
Priority,
This
is
is
that what you're thinking
this is a priority. Yes, priority. That was the word. So this is not actually a professional wrestling match.
No,
This
it's not.
is
There's a fight.
there is 2 fights or 1 extended fight. This is actually the origin of the character the Great Muta when he came to Japan. So in WCW, Keiji Muto was an amazing white meat babyface kind of character in Japan. They wanted to send him to America to get seasoned. They send him to America. They look at him in WCW or the NWA at the time, and they're like, I don't know if that guy's going to get over. He's a Japanese guy. He looks good. What can we do to get this guy over? We're going to paint his face. They come up with the Great Muta character. The Great Muta is in America. Keiji Muto is in Japan. They never crossed paths. Like, Muta didn't come over to Japan ever. So, at that point, in the mid-'90s, Muto starts coming over to Japan, and they wanted to give the people a primer on what this character is all about. And they came up with this crazy backstory video, and that's what we made Matt Davenport watch. Davenport, how did you like the origin of the demon?
I want to know how you expected me to write a monologue like
Here we
Cookie
go.
just had based off of what you gave me. And if I did, it's in my haiku because I didn't understand anything. First of all,
How did you not understand anything?
There was no words. There's nothing to understand. You just have to take it in.
it was just like, where's this
Breathe it
going?
in.
It was, Muto hunting a demon, the demon hunting him.
Right.
You forgot the whole birthing process
There was a birth. There was a birth of the demon.
with strobe lights and random goo.
It was.
Yeah, it was very sexual.
I thought there was more time in the credits than anything else.
That's good for you. You didn't have to watch as much.
I-
So tell me what happened in
What were
this
the
video.
highlights? What are the lowlights? Yeah, lead us into the thought process while you were watching this.
what the fuck is going on? That was everything.
Davenport,
I literally stopped and said and wrote out in the group text, Aaron, what the fuck are you making me watch?
I already tweeted that out.
Oh.
So and Tolbert said, "This is metal, man." Okay, Tolbert was like really.
Tolbert was stoned out of his mind.
He
while
was
watching
so
this.
happy
See
to
if you
watch
can call
this
him
thing.
and get him to add his 2 cents onto
yeah,
this.
between the strobe lights and like the 80s electronica, Tolbert was really loving it. Probably.
I did not follow it at all. It was
No, there's nothing to follow. You're not having to like
Yeah.
translate
it was
anything.
no,
You're
but it was
watching-
kind of like nothing.
You know what it reminded me of? Did you ever watch
Power Rangers?
No, Mystery
Yes,
Science
Power
Theater.
Yes.
It reminded me of a clip that Mystery Science Theater would have like riffed on.
Oh, they would have loved it.
Because it starts in like a cave. You're getting like cuts left and right, and then we get to the birthing scene where he just comes out of this gooey thing in the cave, and there's strobe lights everywhere. I thought I was gonna have a panic attack and
A seizure.
A seizure.
Right.
It was great stuff.
And then there was a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain jumps
Yes,
down.
monster, Muda versus monster,
So Muda wrestles this monster, loses,
dies.
spits up lots of blood.
More like oozed out of his mouth.
It kind of oozed out of his mouth. And then Muta started morphing into this even more demonic character. And it was a very disturbing transformation scene.
He
It
grew teeth.
opens up with what looks like to be a vagina and
Correct.
blood coming out of a vagina.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
hold
you call
on.
him
guys.
back?
Yeah. Oh, he ended the call on accident.
Oh, this is.
So tell me a little bit more about this, Tolbert or Davenport.
I don't know what there is to tell. Like this movie.
Why did you?
I didn't understand anything that was going on. I didn't know like.
Tolbert, can you tell Davenport that he's wrong about how so Davenport is so confused by the Great Muta video that we posted for this week's link. Can you give us a brief explanation of it?
Well, I only watched a few minutes of it myself.
It was the
but,
credits.
It's pretty much him, from what I gather, him becoming like a demon and just becoming the evil spirit that kind of took over his body and transformed him into the Great Muta.
Thank you.
Yeah, to sum it up.
All right, so while you're here, Tolbert, we want Davenport to deliver his haiku.
Oh, because that sums
yeah.
up what I understood from it was the haiku. Here we go. Muta hunt demon. No real wrestling going on. Finger blasted chest.
I forgot about how he defeated the monster.
Hey.
Yeah, he Indiana Jones
Yeah,
the
how
monster.
did he defeat the monster?
He finger blasted him in the chest.
Also, in this week's episode, we established that Davenport's into autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Katie, I'm glad you guys having a great weekend. You're coming back soon, right?
We're coming back tomorrow night.
You're not moving to Portland.
No, that's not happening.
All right, good, because your dog is still here.
Yeah.
Get your dog.
To get back to her. We're actually we're vacationed out. We're ready to come home and chill with the pup and get back to work and watch some wrestling.
Sounds good.
Sounds
you guys
good with
have
me, too.
a safe trip back. We love you guys.
We will. See you soon.
Bye.
You can have your spot back as soon as you're ready.
All right, so that is $2
like you
steak.
don't have fun with us.
Maybe the worst episode we've ever done.
Worst episode you've had.
The worst episode I've ever
Hey,
had.
Cookie, how
Ever.
many boxes did Aaron have?
At least 6.
What would you?
At least
what
6.
would the cookie count for this episode be? A 2?
Can you do a
I
cookie
think it'd be
count
like
for all the
3.
episodes?
2.5, 3.
Last week, what did you think last week was?
Last week was solid. I think it was like a 4.5.
I think it was a
I thought
4.5
last
last
week
week.
was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Last week was a lot of fun.
This week, not as much.
Well, I mean, Davenport didn't even know what he was looking at.
Davenport.
I didn't know there was the two Muda and Great Muta and whoever was
Maybe
different
you
people.
should. All right. So a 2, a solid 2,
A solid 2.
solid 2.
The startup, it was just me and you talking.
I know.
Hey, Matt,
It's poor
What
preparation.
is this episode
Hey,
about?
what's that saying? Poor preparation leads to poor performance.
Yeah, I performed poorly.
You did. You were off. I was off. I made my own.
I'm
my own
always
shit
off,
list.
so nothing's on my shoulders.
That's how bad this week's been.
Cookie,
We'll do better
you
next
did
week.
phenomenal.
Cookie, man.
Cookie, you know what? I think Cookie is the highlight. He's the all-star. If this
think
was
I
a
do.
hockey match, Cookie would get a start today.
Cookie, I'm putting that on the back of your helmet. We're gonna put a little buck on the back of your helmet, right? That's what they do in Ohio State.
It's a Buckeye leaf. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a buck.
What's
A buck's a fucking stag. It's a that's a deer.
Anyways, great job today, Cookie.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Everybody else, go fuck yourself.